At a funeral, you put on your Sunday best. You went out to dinner, you made sure you looked presentable. Even going to church, school, or even the grocery store.
Hey guys, hi YouTube, welcome back to my channel. So I was scrolling and came across this video of this blog guy that pretty much said whatever happened to the dress code. And he was talking about how now people are just wearing whatever to any place and they just don't care. So he was talking about, you know, when there's a funeral, there's a wedding or an event where they've told you what the dress code is and then you still go ahead and wear whatever. You guys have seen the viral videos where people come on and asking, you know, if they should wear shorts to like an interview. You've had the people that went overboard, like a woman that pretty much wore close to nothing to a baby shower. And she was like, well, I don't know if So when I was growing up, my mom always made sure we looked good. You know, sometimes she would even use cooking oil when we didn't have lotion to make sure we were moisturized and looking nice. A lot of times people couldn't even tell that we were struggling when we were in Africa. A lot of times they thought we were doing well because first impressions are everything. People assume certain types of things about you when you go outside looking some kind of way. So that stuck with me. Our whole family, when we go somewhere, when we are doing stuff, we put ourselves together really nicely because that's something that we were raised with. So it's just something that's impossible. Like me, when I go outside just for anything, I try to make sure that I look somehow decent. Even if I'm just going downstairs to get the mail, I'll make sure I'm covered up so I'm not like jiggling and all. You know, if I'm wearing the shortest shorts ever, you know, I'll say, let me put a robe on top to go downstairs because I care about somebody seeing me a certain way. And so that's something that's always been with me. I do plus size fashion on here on this channel, and it's important to me to look nice. It's important to me for somebody to say, you know, wow, it looks like she put some effort this morning. Like she didn't just roll out of bed. When you're a plus size woman, a black woman, we already have other things that are stacked against us. So you never wanted to be the person that now it's what you're wearing. You know what I mean? That's how I see it. There's already things going on with people of color in general. So let's not make dressing up also a part of that problem. So another video I was watching, this guy said, oh, he went to a nice wedding where they told them what the dress code is. And this person came with their best looking Louis Vuitton sneakers and was shining bright. Louis Vuitton this, Louis Vuitton that. And he was like, while you might have money and you're wearing expensive items, it doesn't match what the dress code was. So why are people ignoring the dress code? When you were told to go to somebody's wedding or there's a funeral and you go and pick your best flip-flops and your shorts to go to that event, you just don't care what you were told. So the comments were very interesting because one person brought up that after the COVID thing, a lot of people just didn't know what the heck was going on. People were stressed, people were overwhelmed. And it kind of almost changed how things are now, where people were like, well, we're just staying home anyway. I'm working from home and I'm casual. And that's how people ended up going to the stores, you know, and people going to events as well. Like people were just like, I'm just going to put on some shorts and a hoodie and I'm going to a place. And then they talk about how leggings have become this thing that everybody is just like putting on leggings for everything. You know, it's one thing to be casual. And a lot of people made the arguments in the comments saying that, oh, they work like 80 hours a week. They're tired and going to the store. They're not going to make an effort to dress up, which is true to a certain point. Yeah, you are exhausted, especially if you have somebody who has kids and stuff like that. Yes, it is a lot. You get tired, but you can always put nice sweatpants on, a nice t-shirt, a jean jacket or something, you know, and put on your little, you know, Crocs, you know, or whatever. That's fine. It's decent for the store. But at the same time, just getting out and having a bonnet and a robe and rolling down to go get some coffee, it bothers me. Because to me, anytime I step outside, the minute I step down the stairs, I'm like, okay, I got to look some kind of way. It's important to me. It sends a message. I've watched videos where guys have said, women are asking, how come guys don't approach them when they're dressed up and looking nice? Because typically the guy's assuming you're high maintenance and they're going to have to pay for your nails or your hair and stuff like that. While you're not dressed up and all that, they come approach you because they think, oh, she's very low maintenance. I can deal with her. So you know, how you look and how you put together sends a message. Sometimes it's how you dress that makes somebody starts talking to you. Other times they don't. So if you're looking really crazy and all that, you don't smell nice, your hygiene and all that, and somebody's just like, I'm not even going to bother with her. Sometimes, you know, you're looking like what you're going through, which is something I've told myself, no matter how stressed I am, no matter how hard life is, you're not going to see me looking a crazy mess. And you're definitely not going to see me wearing things that don't belong for events. You know, if it's a party at the park, okay, I understand jeans. You could do jeans. You could do a nice shirt or whatever. You could do some sneakers. I get that. But when somebody tells you like, hey, we're doing a party and it's white theme, it doesn't mean get your best white shirt and white shorts and your white flip-flops and go wear that to a party. It means look decent and look nice, wear all white. So it's just, and then I was reading another comment that made me laugh so hard. It said that it went with the dressing went away with the manners. And it's true. People are just acting all types of ways. They no longer care. Like, why would you be trying to say things like, I'm going to meet my husband, so I'm going to wear the skimpiest outfit because my husband's going to be at the baby shower. I got to meet him. How is that okay? So it's just, to me, I know that first impressions are everything. And that's always stuck with me, because you just never know what impression you're giving the first time that somebody runs into you looking some kind of way. Have your hair done, I always say that. Whatever style that works for you, have your hair clean and nicely put together and done at all times, Put something on your lips when you're going out, Just moisturize, Clear the crust out of your eyes, Go close to that mirror and clean out the crust. It's things that seem basic, but it seems like the more and more people are just not caring. They're just walking around like, oh, well, And sometimes, you hear women say, I can't find my husband. I can't. But you are not even putting yourself together. You're not holding your head up high because you look nice. Because how they say, when you look good, you feel really good. It is so true. The days that you don't put yourself together, like when I'm home wearing, you don't want to see the stuff. I don't feel my best. Usually I'm just like, oh my gosh. But when I take that shower, I moisturize, put something on my lips, do my hair, all of a sudden I'm like, yes, I'm carrying myself a little bit way better. So it's been studied that how you look really has an impact on how you feel. So when you just don't put an effort and you go out there looking any kind of way, you're also attracting certain types of people. And so one of the reasons I love Ashley Dalton is she stresses this constantly. Women that want to put themselves in a situation to meet certain types of people, you got to make that effort. It's all about everything. You have to care about yourself. You have to care about not looking like you came just straight out of bed and don't get me started when I see the school drop-offs. I understand. Yes, it's early in the morning. You're tired. It's exhausting. But to put on some nice sweatpants or nice casual pants and a nice t-shirt, clean, tie your hair in a bun and all that stuff. It's not that hard to do. But I've seen some stuff that just it doesn't make sense. Why are you in the drop-off have to almost half naked? Other kids are staring at you, looking at you like, why are you wearing that? There's a time and place for everything. If it's a party at night and you're going to have cocktails, okay, you can show a little bit of cleavage. You can show your legs and show that body, no problem. But if you're going to a baby shower or you're going to someone's wedding and now people are looking at you like, whoa, you're showing everything. The tightest dress you could find. Everything's jiggling out and all that stuff. It's not right. And if somebody asks you and says, hey, we're doing casual dress or whatever, and you go and do just all the way casual, it's like you don't care. So I understand that we went through a tough time during COVID where people really, really just didn't know what was going on. I understand that. But there's always that respect that you give to somebody, especially if they invite you to an event and they tell you exactly what to wear and you just go do whatever. When some guys, they get their best sneakers, that's the time to get your best Jordans and your best whatever. And it's like, no, it doesn't match what was asked. And I really love how the guy was saying, like, for a funeral, this is not the time to be wearing your blackest, sexiest, shortest, tightest outfit. It's wear black, wear something that's appropriate, that looks like, okay, you're there to honor whoever's passed away, blah, 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 blah. Because I've seen stuff at the funeral that don't make sense either. It's just, I don't understand. And I understand a lot of American people are working really hard. A lot of people are exhausted. I understand that. But getting up and just saying, let me do my hair, let me, brush my teeth and all that, the hygiene, and let me smell good, put on a clean outfit and just go. I understand. Like, I've been places like the first kindergarten party that my kid had at school. I was dressed up nicely. And everybody was asking where I was going. And I was like, oh, because it's my kid's kinder graduation. I want to take nice pictures with him. If I can find the picture, I'll show you guys. I try to do that. And every time that he's doing the graduation, I try to dress nice so I could take pictures with him, because this is going to be sitting there one day. He's going to be showing like, oh, this is my mom, that I want them to say, wow, you know, she was put together nicely. That's important. It doesn't have to be over the top where people are just like, whoa, you know, but it has to be nice. Look nice. You know, look like you care. You know, stains on your clothes and all that stuff. It's just giving a certain type of message. So, and then there's people who say, I don't care what people think. Who are you to tell me what to wear? Okay. I don't have to tell you what to wear. I understand that. But also, when you get certain types of treatment somewhere and people are giving you those side eyes and all that stuff, then don't get mad. Because I just shake my head at some of the stuff that I see every single day. It's like, what happened? You know, sexy doesn't have to be for a lot of women. Sexy is not everywhere that you go. You have to be sexy. There's times for it. You know, if you're going on a nice date, okay, you can show a little something. But if you are going to an event like a wedding that somebody's inviting you to, just put a nice effort. Look, have a nice flowing dress that is not showing everything. Like, it's just, I so agree with this guy. And he was giving the examples of how the dressing just completely changed, where people just don't care anymore. And it's whatever. Anything goes. You know, anything goes. And I just always ask myself the same thing, because when I was growing up, I was taught that when you step outside, put some effort to look nice. I'm not saying buy the most expensive anything. Just look nice. A lot of times, yeah, people will ask you where you're going. Why are you dressed like, you know, dressed up? But, you know, for me, it's just for me. It makes me feel amazing. It makes me feel good. And also, I do fashion on this channel. So I always remember that. Like, if somebody ran into me, they're going to be like, oh my gosh, she talks about fashion videos, but she's not even dressed. This is not just something that I'm doing on here just for videos. I actually do that every single day of my life. If you see me somewhere, I'm put together. Whether it's a jeans and a t-shirt, you're going to see me making an effort. I'm not in a bonnet. I'm not in a robe. You'll never catch me in that, because it's a no. It's a no. And also, I want my kid to see me and say, wow, you know, my mom always puts herself together in the morning. You know, when they grow up, they can say, wow, you know, let me put myself together. Let me take a minute to look in the mirror and see how I look like before I step out. You know, it shows people that you cared. You cared about yourself this morning. All right, guys. So I can remember all, but I just wanted to say I agree with what they're saying. Yes, people can say, oh, this and this and this, why they're not dressing up. But at the end of the day, first impressions are everything.